Mashaba slams Ramaphosa's OPA speech as disappointing and below expectations. ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba has expressed disappointment over President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech at the opening of Parliament. Ramaphosa outlined the priorities of the 7th administration at the OPA, which sat at the Cape Town City Hall on Thursday night. This marked Ramaphosa's first speech under the 7th administration, which is constituted under the guise of the Government of National Unity GNU. Last month, ActionSA declined an invitation to join the ANC-led GNU, saying that it was important for Parliament to have a strong opposition to the government. In an interview with the eNCA, Mashaba expressed disappointment with Ramaphosa's speech, citing that it did not live up to his expectations. I know and am aware that the president is facing a challenge after the drop of ANC's support base after the elections. And unfortunately, he is working with a very arrogant partner, the DA, and has massive policy differences, he told the broadcaster. Mashaba expressed uncertainty about whether the ANC and DA will manage to resolve their policy differences. Because ANC's 30 years of corruption and mismanagement on their hand, and on the other hand you got the DA that says no black people inequality in this country must be addressed by the growing economy. He said that Ramaphosa's speech lacked details on how he intends to tackle inequality, improve governance, and implement policy interventions to address the legacy of colonialism, apartheid, and the ANC's governance over the past 3 decades. How are we going to bring black people into the economy so that can also enjoy the fruit of the country? How are we going to deal with the high levels of crime, with the murder capital of the world and rape capital of the world? He said. Asked about ActionSA's stance on the issue he mentioned, he emphasized the need for an effective economy, stressing that achieving this requires prioritizing the environment of the private sector as the primary driver. But obviously, it's not the private sector without government intervention. Government intervention is very important to ensure that we create an enabling environment where particularly small, medium, and micro enterprises, SMMEs, can operate. Look at what's happening right now in our townships and black communities. We have people running businesses who we don't know how they came into the country in the first place, how they operate these businesses, and whether pay taxes or not, he said. Mashaba highlighted these urgent concerns and said that Ramaphosa seems to overlook them. How can you run an economy when people are being murdered? Women are being raped, and when the future of our youth is destroyed, and international drug cartels operate with absolute impunity. So these are issues that need to be addressed, and what we're saying as ActionSA is that these issues we must confront them and confront them directly. He said that allowing people from other countries into the country solely to engage in criminal activities is unacceptable. This country will recognize and accept the fact that South Africa was built at the back of migrants, but people must come here legally, and when they are here, they must respect our laws. We need a policy framework that can allow small businesses to operate, and we as ActionSA late last year came up with the concept of spaza for locals, he said. In the meantime, Zuma attends OPA debate after snubbing traitor Ramaphosa's speech. Former President Jacob Zuma on Friday attended the opening of Parliament debate at the Cape Town City Hall after he snubbed President Cyril Ramaphosa's opening address for the 7th administration on Thursday night. Ramaphosa delivered the opening of Parliament address on Thursday night in Cape Town, While the debate was held on Friday, Zuma was seen posing in pictures on social media with his daughter Duduzile Zuma Sambudla, who took selfies with the MK party leader. In other pictures, Zuma was pictured with Dr. John Hlophe, the parliamentary caucus leader of the MKP. President Zuma handling the baton. From one honorable member to another, the Zuma legacy continues, Duduzile explained on X. In another tweet, she said it was "Take Your Dad to Work Day." Earlier, MK party spokesperson Tlamulo Ndlela said Zuma would not be caught dead under the same roof with a traitor, referring to Ramaphosa. Ndlela said all those who thought Zuma would attend the opening of parliament were delusional. Those that think President Zuma will attend the opening of parliament led and addressed by Cyril Ramaphosa are totally dislodged from reality. It's over Helen Zile's dead body that you will find President Zuma under the same roof with the traitor addressing him and the nation, he added. On Wednesday, while addressing media on the state of readiness for the opening of Parliament address, National Council of Provinces NCOP chairperson Refilwe Mtweni Tsipane said that Zuma and corruption accused Nosiviwe Masipa Qakula were among esteemed guests invited for the opening of Parliament. Former Speaker Mapisa Qakula resigned in April when she had to appear in court on corruption charges stemming from her time as Defense Minister. Despite the invite, both Zuma and Mapisa Qakula missed the opening. On Wednesday, Zuma also failed to show up for the ANC's virtual disciplinary session, citing network issues at his Nkandla homestead as the reason. But he had appointed struggle activist and former ANC-NEC member Tony Yengeni to represent him during the ANC's disciplinary hearing. In response to this, Umkhonto weSizwe Party MKP mentioned that Yengeni asked for a physical meeting and the postponement, but the disciplinary committee declined and insisted on a virtual one. Instead, the committee agreed to postpone the hearing to next Tuesday. On the other hand, nothing GNU here. Ramaphosa's speech repetitive and lacking details on how GNU will work. President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech was a repeat of what he has previously said, but this time it was dashed with sprinkling of Government of the National Unity, GNU. This is according to a public policy specialist at the WIS School of Governance, Dr. Kagiso Tikebo, who told IOL that the speech merely stated what everyone already knows to be wrong with the country. There were some interesting points, especially around poverty alleviation, in particular the expansion of the basket of essential food items exempt from VAT. Beyond this, nothing really stood out. Perhaps he didn't want to do another State of the Nation Part 2 in 2024, he said. Ramaphosa delivered his opening of Parliament address on Thursday night in Cape Town as the 7th administration began its work. Paul said the speech missed an opportunity about how the Grand Coalition, not GNU, was going to practically work within government processes and systems. He stressed that there was little information about key deadlines and dates South Africans can hold the president's Grand Coalition to account on. Paul believes that Ramaphosa should have touched more on how GNU will operate because it was a glaring omission. While I can acknowledge documents have been circulated before this speech, South Africans still do not know how contentious policy issues will be resolved to not halt the work of the government, he said. He said South Africa's problem do not need to be re-theorized, casting doubt on the progressiveness of the GNU. What is needed is leadership and firm decisions, which has been the historical problem with the approach of President Ramaphosa's leadership, he said. ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba said he was disappointed by the speech because this was all a pipe dream. He said the GNU was just a grand coalition and nothing else. Build One South Africa BOSA leader Musi Maimane shared the same sentiment about the president's speech being repeated. Maimane said there was still a lot to be done under this administration, but said accountability was key. EFF leader Julius Malema said he would not be surprised if the speech was written by the DA because its members clapped hands until the very end. Meanwhile, the ANC's acting spokesperson Zuko Gotimpi welcomed the speech and said the president outlined what needed to be done. PS Gayton Mackenzie expressed full support and confidence in Ramaphosa and the GNU, saying GNU will be a success. And that's it from Injibs Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.